Wilton makes a run ahead of him. Bergkamp suddenly changed pace through the centre. It's Bergkamp! That's magnificent! The move, and then this, which left Dabby's ass totally stranded.
Hello and welcome to a Bergkamp Wonderland preview game. How did I say the preview once? I've got no idea. I don't remember how I did it. Anyway, it's the preview show and it's with me and Stan. And I'm bringing it back. Don't call it a comeback as LL Cool J because we have never been gone. Looking at the wrong screen. We've never been gone. Yes, I've been listening to old LL Cool J albums. It's nice to be back, Stan. Have you been? You've had some surgery done, like Rio Ferdinand, I see.
No, I didn't fly to Turkey and get a Wayne Rooney. I just decided to grow it. All right. People thought I was bald. You were wrong. I just used to shave it every week. See?
Well,
I'm well,
nice.
And it's been I'm well, and it's been a while since I've actually been on here with you, Danny. It seems like, I don't know, it's been some months, hasn't it, since we've had an opportunity to do this together because of the time difference.
Very true. It has been quite a while, but it's mainly been because I just went off for doing pre-game preview shows and post-game shows, but Deke is back for doing the post-game shows. We'll be back Sunday night to do one, and then you're going to be coming doing these. I'll be doing these late night because there's a whole massive audience out there in North America and other parts of the world that would like to join the show live when we're doing it, rather than having to watch it later. Like BX just said that he's got something to do. Let's say hello to some of the people in the chat. Stefan is there as always. BX says, is this really going live? My evening has been saved. Well, there you go. It is 1:10 a.m. here. And because I'm on the carnivore diet, people, I am going for a wee every 2.5 hours. So I go to bed, then I have to get up 2.5 hours later for a wee. Then it takes me 20 minutes to get back into bed. And then I go back to sleep. And then up for so I slept today from 7 a.m. till 9 p.m. to get the normal amount of 6 or 7 hours sleep. It's driving me crazy, Stan. You've never seen anything like it. Every 2.5 hours, whether I'm awake or not. There you go. That's enough about my diet, but it's working. Phil is there. Hey, Danny, a late pod for the overseas viewers. See, Phil knows. Happy New Year, fellas. Happy New Year to you, to Phil. I'm not sure when we can stop saying this. I think it's maybe the first week. Then after that, we have to tell him to get fucked, don't we? New look for Stan. I thought Danny was podding with Andrew Ridgely.
Do you know something? That's really spooky that Phil says that, because when I was about maybe 14 and I used to have hair, I used to have what was known back in the day as a wedge haircut, and I used to have a blonde fringe. I know. It was the 80s, right? And people used to say, "You look like Andrew Ridgely." So it's quite funny that you said that. It's been a while since I've had that.
Oh, well, there you go. When people talk about haircuts, the last time I had a haircut was probably 1989. I asked him for an undercut, and he undercut one half of it and didn't undercut the other half. So I had to go home and shave it all off, and that's when I started shaving my head. For those who so we've been over diet stuff, we've been over haircuts. Do you think we should maybe move on a little bit to the football?
Yeah, why not? That's why they're all here.
Right. I've got some notes. Right, the game, Arsenal v Liverpool. I think you knew that. Competition, FA Cup 4th round. I think most of you knew that. The date, Sunday the 7th of January. I'm sure you all knew that. A little extra I've added in. 4:30 p.m. in London, 11:30 a.m. in New York, 11:30 a.m. 8:30 a.m. in Vancouver Island. Hello, Jeff, if you're watching. 3:30 a.m. in Sydney, 10 p.m. in New Delhi, and 1:30 a.m. in Tokyo. See, we are nothing if not multinational, multilingual. So it's actually going to be on BBC One, Stan. I'm quite surprised by that. And I remembered it was the FA Cup because the Everton one was on Channel 4.
Okay.
Which
Question
is nice.
Then: are they going back to what they used to do when I was a kid, where they do, they start sort of about 12 o'clock and give you loads of behind the scenes of the teams and a little bit of history? Do you remember how it used to be?
That was the cup final only
event, wouldn't it? You'd just be in front of the telly. Your dads and your uncles would be going in. It would be running in and out as well, and you'd have a few cousins round and nibbles and big bottles of cola, and you'd just spend the whole day watching the FA Cup.
Yeah, but that was the final. Only the final.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, it wasn't normal
But
FA
I do
Cup
miss
games.
that. I do miss
Yeah,
that. I do
it
miss
was
that
special.
about
It's an
the
occasion.
final. And I think
Yes.
because they don't do that anymore, the generation that's growing up now, because there's no pomp and circumstance around the final, and it's there's other games on the same day as well, and it's not given its own day. It's lost. I think it's lost its not its popularity, but its glamour, because it's not treated the same. And as the generations come out, it's not given the same reverence.
Well, because for most players, winning the league, the Division 1 in the 70s, unless you were Everton or Liverpool, it wasn't going to happen. And then in the later in the 80s, Arsenal won it, and Man United started winning stuff. So you were never going to win a title, we never win a trophy. But to win the FA Cup, that was a feasible task, because Coventry won it, Wimbledon won it. So it would be a massive day out, like you said, of all the stuff they used to do. And you go, right, 12 o'clock, get ready for the FA Cup. They have the camera on the coach on the way to Wembley, and then you'd have interviews of ex-players and pros. You remember the pro celebrity game you used to have? I think the 1987, it was Coventry beat Spurs. They had a pro celebrity game, and Daley Thompson played football and scored a hat-trick in it.
Right, okay. I remember them doing things like that, but I don't remember that specific one, but yeah.
And I met him at Barnet a few years later for Carl Hoddle's testimonial. And I said, "Oh, I saw you at the Wembley all those years ago. What team do you support?" He went, "I don't like football." Walked off. I thought, fuck you. XY space. Yeah, if anyone under the age of 40 is not going to get that. Anyway, some more people have turned up. Tom Andrews says, "Nice to see you back, Stan." Is indeed. Steph is there. Mike Hertz. Hold on. Here we go. He does this to me every time. I have to go and... No, he's not Brazilian, is he? He's Mexican. Arriba! Yeah, filthy vermin. I was watching on Twitch. There's a channel that does nothing but it does an old WCW, and then it would do an old WWF, and they go all the way back to the beginning. And so it'd be one Monday, then the other Monday, then back and forth. Juventud Guerrera. And I thought, I hate those people. Come on with their masks
Juventud
on.
Guerrera, yeah. Is he the one that wears like a skeleton outfit? His outfit looks like a skeleton.
It was, I've also got this saved in case his name ever pops up. And I've got the Guatemalan flag, because we all know Mike Hertz is really Guatemalan. So there you go. Trying to keep this on track, but I'm not going to hold out much hope. Michael Kelly is there. That's a name I don't remember. He's got a baseball thing in his avatar. The boy in red. I know nothing about baseball. Moss Sports World. Big up, Hertz. You do candy homework over holidays. Every time you put stuff in there, Moss, I've got no idea what you're talking about. But it's nice that you're here. Thank you very much. They're all saying hello to each other. Steph says, "I love the FA Cup. Live near Wembley." My commiserations. Absolute shithole. How could they put the world's biggest, best stadium in that industrial estate in a shit part of London? It's a crime. Every time I think I want Arsenal there in May. Well, yeah, hopefully. Mike, no, they're talking to each other. Tom Andrews says, "Fulham defeat done me, Danny. I switched off from football. I haven't even caught up with FA Cup highlights." Well, the Everton Palace game was dog shit, and Matey Boy got sent off when he shouldn't have got sent off, and all the other games have all been 1-0 or draws, and they've been rubbish. Not been a single decent game so far out of the 4. Right, Stan, what else are we going to talk about? So it's on BBC One if you want to watch it. Get a VPN and you can watch it anywhere in the world. If you want to listen to it, it's on BBC iPlayer. Players that are out injured. Okay, we've got Jurriën Timber. And then, hold on, I need to do this first. Go here, click on that. Other players that are out is Fabio Ferreira Vieira. January the 5th, there was a note. He's doing well again, but it was a surgery that required 2 different things to get results. Obviously, he is still a bit far from where we want him to be, but he needs to keep working, and hopefully in the next few weeks we can have him available. Stan, your man might be back. Teabag might be back on the pitch doing nothing. Are you happy?
Yeah, I'm still holding out. I'm still sort of like clinging to the hope that he's going to come good. I'm putting a lot of faith into Teabag. I don't know why. It's like my little pet project. I really want to see him come good because I do think that there is a player in there. But it does seem that the player that's in there is having trouble getting out. So hopefully it's going to happen for him this season.
Yeah, hopefully, but I doubt it. It's going to be a loan with an option to buy, and then another one, and then it'll be released on a free. Thomas Partey. There was said there was some news. Oh, this might be it. January the 5th. I keep forgetting it's January. Hopefully, quote, hopefully it's weeks until he's fit again. How many weeks it will be will depend a little bit more on how long the next step of training with the team will take him, but he's just progressing well. Do you think there's a smoke screen there? Because we can't talk about what we talk about on WhatsApp. But for him to be out that long is a bit wonky, isn't it?
I feel, and it wouldn't surprise me, and I've said it a few times over on Arsenal fan circle, it wouldn't surprise me if we've seen Thomas Partey already play his last game for Arsenal, and it wouldn't surprise me that he could exit the club during this window. You know, I mean, I like Thomas Partey as a footballer. A footballer, he's a great talent, and what he can do really helps us. The problem is, though, he's just not available enough. He's just not being available enough. He's played something like, out of all of the available game time that he's had available to him since he's been with us, he's played probably around, I think it was around about 30%. I mean, you know, that's just not going to do it, really. And it wouldn't surprise me that if he was out of the club this transfer window, it really wouldn't.
See, I automatically assume that the Saudi Pro League runs a calendar year schedule, much like MLS. Does MLS do that? No, it starts in September. Or does it? No, it starts in February and ends in about September. And
you mean what, they run a calendar year from January to December in the Saudi League? Is that how they do it?
No, I automatically assumed they do, but they don't. 11th of August, 27th of May. That is exactly the same as our one, which means they're still going. They're only halfway through their season. So your idea that he may be able to get rid of him in this transfer window might have legs, might have mega legs.
Yeah.
Which would be nice.
Me at all.
How much do you think we should get for him, or do you think it'd be more of a case of getting rid of the wages that we have on the books?
Well, you'd like to be able to turn a profit, wouldn't you? And I think when we bought him, it was something like £45 million or £50. He had a release clause. I think the release clause was like 50 million euros.
Because we went over there with a suitcase full of cash, didn't we? And triggered it.
Sorry?
We went over there with a suitcase full of cash and triggered the release clause, which no one expected.
In the dead of night.
If people, you're listening and you hear me and Stan talking over each other a little bit, we were doing this thing counting to 5, and then Stan says 6 when I say 5, and there's about a 1.5 second delay. We couldn't figure out why. So we're not being rude. We are professionals, and we've done enough podcasting hours together to work seamlessly together. So yeah, don't think either of us are being rude, because we're not. Right, so let's have a few more comments. Hantumi is there. Hello, everyone. Travisur is there. Partey for Onana, straight swap. Well, I don't think Partey will go to Everton because there's issues. But Onana, I was looking at his details before we started the show. 6'4", 22 years old. He comes from Senegal. He plays for Belgium. Yeah, he was started his career in Germany, and then he went to Lille, and then he went to Everton for 33 million 18 months ago. He's a defensive midfielder who can play centre-back and any of the defensive positions. And much like Vieira, very long legs, loves a through ball, hard as nails, and loves to slide in, wrap his legs around you like Mr. Tickle's arms and get the ball off you. 22 years old, Stan. What do you think?
I don't know too much about Onana. I know that he's a bit of a toughie when it comes to his playing style. But I was listening to another podcast. Yes, I listen to other podcasts.
Which
and
one?
Were talking about... I was listening to Chronicles of a Gooner with Harry Semiu. And I think he was saying that, you know, from what he's looked at with Onana, he feels that he's maybe missing a little bit on the technical side of his game. But, you know, he is a bit of a beast and he's very strong. But I don't know too much about him. So I can't really say whether I'll be excited about that or not, to be fair.
Fair enough.
I would say this though. It would be nice to have a bit of a hard bastard join us. I think that would be, you know. Oh, I've been caught moonlighting.
Yeah, you certainly have. Even though you've sent him a lovely mug, which if I wanted one of those lovely mugs, where would I go and get one from?
What lovely mug would you be talking about, Danny? Would you happen to have one to hand?
Hold on. Downloading. There we go. Hold on a second. Save image to desktop, because Stan sent me one of his very fine mugs, because he's a lovely fellow, and so I took a picture of it, which I'm just going to share with you now. Desktop, and then
hold on. Where's the real mug? You haven't dropped it already, have you? You've only got the picture.
There you go. Stan sent me that. So Stan, if people would like that mug, where can they go?
Well, you can find a mug like that and other bits and pieces on my online store, which is on Etsy, and you just got to go and find the Gooner Shack, and it's written underneath my name here on the channel. You might find something you like, and you'd also be contributing to the all-inclusive holiday in Mexico fund that I'm starting. So,
are you going to go and stay with Hertz? He's
maybe
got a compound in
if you'll have me. I'll probably link up with the Arsenal luchador as well.
Oh, arriba, signore! I don't know why I said signore. They don't say signore, do they? That's Italians. They're all foreign to me, governor. Hold on. I've been on the Pepsi Max. And what are you drinking? A beverage? A beer?
Yes, I'm drinking a Red Truck IPA out of my Arsenal glass.
Well, there you go. It's all mugs and cups. Right. Catch up on a few little things here. Someone made a point about it was further up. Michael Kelly. I waited for this so we could talk about it. Shirley, don't call me Shirley. Tony isn't worth $80 million, but Arsenal need a reinforcement at striker. I think he's going to be a lot more than $80 million. $80 million is about £70 million. What do you think?
Well, Ray, who's in the chat box from my fan circle, he's really high on Tony. He's somebody that I know that he would like him to come in. And we've discussed this a few times. And I'm of the opinion that when we went out and we went shopping, didn't we? We came back with Declan Rice. Now, when you go shopping for a player like Declan Rice, you're probably shopping at Harrods, top of the line. So now that Arsenal have taken me shopping in Harrods, I don't want to shop anywhere else. And don't get me wrong, you can get some good stuff in Marks and Spencer's. British Home Store, they put out some good stuff as well. But once you've had a taste of Harrods, I mean, it's difficult to go for anything else. So if we are going to be buying a striker to bring into the team, I want to see us bringing in a striker that, is coming from the same shelf as Declan Rice, So for me, I think the next cab off the rank has got to be Victor Osimhen. I mean, the wild dream, and I keep seeing it now in the last 24 hours. Everyone's talking about how Mbappe is now into the last 6 months and can sign a pre-contract, and I'm just like, stop doing that to me, because for me that would be the dream, because that's a show of intent. I know he brings a lot of baggage, and it'd probably be a right little whiny git to deal with, but at least we'd have Mbappe, and for me, the bragging rights would be fantastic. But on a realistic sense, if we can't stretch to that, which we probably never would be able to, I think we should be going all out for someone like an Osimhen. The release clause is 112 million. Maybe we could do like a pre-contract and bring him in the summer, or do some sort of a layaway deal where they get X amount now and X amount then. And we're very good at these deals, right? We're very good, right? We've done it with Nicolas Pepe. Maybe it can work something similar, but for me, it has to be top of the line. And don't get me wrong, I think Ivan Toney is a good player. But I think if you were looking at tiers, he ain't Harrods for me. He's not Harrods.
No.
He's maybe in that shop below Harrods, wherever that may be,
He is someone who's gone out to buy his milk from Sainsbury's or maybe Marks and Spencer's. They were closed, so he's nipped into Harrods for a pint of milk and realised it's £8 and is either going to steal it or leave.
Yeah. or even someone like a Dusan Vlahovic, which Tone V mentioned in the chat box, I think would be maybe an upgrade on Tony. But Tony could be the more convenient one. He knows the league. He literally have to get a bus across London to come and play for us. So maybe it's them. And Arsenal seem to do like to going for the more convenient, lazy deals sometimes, I've noticed.
I do. A new person here, Brenny74. That's 4 years younger than me. So happy 50th this year, Brenny, if that is indeed your age. A name I've not seen before. Now scroll a little bit further down. Travis Hill says Dybala has a release clause for like 15 million. Yeah, I mean, him and Lukaku have turned Roma around a little bit. Not Roma. It was left Roma, didn't he? Where's he gone? It was at Roma. Oh, no, it is Roma.
Is it one of the Milans?
No, Lukaku was at Inter on loan, and then now he's gone to Roma on loan under Jose. So they've got Dybala and Lukaku up front, banging in goals, but the rest of the team is not very good. But he has had a sordid history of back and forth all over the place, but still a really decent player. Mike AC Milan Hertz says, after the public madness of the Vlahovic rejection, I don't think we want him. Phil says Eddie on sale in Poundland. Boy 10. I honestly doubt Tony.
We don't have
that good.
We don't have Poundland here in Canada, but we have the equivalent. It's called Dollarama, and yeah, I think I saw Eddie tucked away on a shelf there.
He's shit, isn't he? The worst player to ever score a Premier League hat-trick. That's over the top, isn't it? Would be funny if we didn't find his pre-ban form. I like Victor Osimhen, but he's got a touch of the Aubameyangs about him for me. He's the star, and he knows he's the star, and he's not gonna be like a Declan Rice that is going to give you everything all of the time.
I'll full disclosure here. I'll tell you what it is about Osimhen that I really like. He wears a mask. I want a guy that wears a mask playing for us, man. And fuck it, let's go the whole hog and give him a cape as well.
Might as well. Might give that a go. Another name I've not seen before, Tone V. Osimhen is destined for Chelsea. He has got Chelsea written all over him. And Tone follows that up with Vlahovic is more suited for us. Yeah, I mean, Juventus are doing really well this season. They're second in this Serie A behind the mighty Inter Milan. I'm not sure where AC Milan is, but they're not doing very good because they've got a pensioner up front. Sai is there. Go and get the obligatory. Where is it? There we go. Get the ticker going. Sai out because I pressed the wrong thing. Because Sai is a cyberbully. Boy 10 says Arteta can't make the Mbappe bid because he has no inkling on how to make the club economically viable enough to sign him. Would end up selling Saka and Martinelli to fund 1 year of Mbappe. Genius, Boy 10, genius. Travis Hill says I'd love Mbappe, but I feel he's too much of a diva. He's just the best player in the world, best striker in the world by a country
It would
mile.
be great, though, wouldn't it? It would be great, just to like have him for a bit. That'd just be great. You know, because then you would feel, wouldn't you feel that you could then go, okay, we can go toe to toe with City now. They've got Haaland, we've got Mbappe. That'd just be like, you know, it's like Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk for the, you know, undisputed championship. It'd be fantastic, and it would hurt even more because I've been reading that Osimhen seems to be more in the frame for Chelsea. They seem to be doing a lot more, and I think that because he's got a connection to Drogba. You know, he has a sort of like maybe a slight favoritism towards Chelsea. But I've also been reading that. And, you know, it could all be clickbait rubbish. It's that time of year and they got to generate stuff. But there's a lot of stories I keep coming up about how Liverpool could be more in the frame when it comes to the UK for Mbappe's signature. And if that happened, man, I'd probably write a strongly worded letter to somebody because I'd be that angry.
To whom it may concern, my name's Stan. I've just got my new hair and I'm about to pull it all out. It's all your fault.
Exactly.
In one of the last podcasts we did, BX said, give me Lewandowski on a 6-month loan to the end of the season. Well, he's now 35 years old. When's he 36? August. So he's still 35. That's how it works. Just looking, he's got a lot. On his Wikipedia, last season in the league, 23 and 34. This season, he's got 8 in 17. Barcelona can't afford to let decent players go because they haven't really got that many at the moment. And most of the players they bought in the summer were either free transfers. Transfers in. The most they spent was 3.4 million on Oriol Romero from Girona. And in the winter, 40 million on Victor Roque. So that's it. Victor Roquay is a forward. Is he any good?
Don't know that person. I don't know that person. I was just chuckling at Mike Hertz bringing up Danny Ceballos in the chat. You know what happens when you bring up Danny Ceballos, Mike? You know what happens when you put me with Danny Ceballos?
What's that?
You just made the list.
Someone's in trouble.
And if you were watching our show last night, you'll understand. I've started a list. Apparently, I've started a list. Nothing to do with Epstein, but I have started a list.
You're not organising a trip to Fuck Island then?
No.
I mean, if Stephen Hawking can go, then maybe I'll be able to get a lift there, get some wriggling going on. Can we get an Arteta out from Sai? No, we can't. No, we're not starting all this process again. We're sticking with him. Where are we? Sai came in hot. Yeah, it did. That's mean. Saka missed a pen or two. I bet Danny wears a mask and a fat suit, and underneath he looks like Tom Cruise. Well, the carnivore diet, Phil. Try it. It's amazing. Just dairy and meat. No carbs, no sugar. Oh, I miss chocolate. So people are still talking about Mbappe like there's any chance on earth that is ever going to have. We'll probably get Darwin Núñez and Curtis Jones from Liverpool if Mbappe goes there. He ain't going to go to Liverpool either. He said he's staying at PSG, and they're only going to pay him a couple of million a week. Huh?
I don't know if he's actually said that. I think he said that he's enjoying it and that, but he sounds to me like he's edging his bets. To me, and why not? If you're someone like Kylian Mbappe, you wouldn't show your hand, would you?
Sniffer 1973 says, "Was that you in the canoe at the riverside, Danny? Now, does that mean you're a local? Because our riverside in Godmanchester is massively flooded. If I went there, I'd cause an electric shock to anybody that was near me because I'd be nipple deep in water. So you're a local, Sniffer? Let me know." Mike Hertz says, "No, not on the list. Not the list. You're too late. You need to be responsible for your actions, Mike. He'd be on the first bus to Guatemala. He'll be going through the Darien Gap back to Mexico. But no, that goes the other side of Mexico, isn't it? I was watching the bloke who's just been through it. Here we go. Stan list hashtag. Mbappe is a good signing, and as the Saka backup, Jesus, he's not making it easy for himself, is he? That's the Liz. The Sai says Mbappe is not coming to Arsenal. We as a club cannot achieve anything of significance in recent history to get a player of that standard. Sai is not a happy man. And
do you know my answer to that? My answer to that would be when many moons ago, when Robinho turned up at Man City. Things can happen if the right deals are done, And we do have quite a history, and. He was courted by Arsenal many years ago by Wenger, wasn't he? His parents came to London, came around London, Coney. He went to Wenger went over there and had tea with him in France, but he chose not to. So there is a little bit of history there, and obviously there's always that French link with Arsenal that players remember growing up, watching players like Thierry Henry and Patrick Vieira playing for Arsenal. So there's always been a little bit of a link, I think, with French players to Arsenal.
I now know who Mark is. He lives in Warboys. That's the place where I first had sweet love with a lady in Warboys. And I've met Mark a couple of times in Huntington Town. He's a very friendly bloke. What else have we got down here? Now, we haven't got any more stuff down here. People are just talking about your list. BX says Arsenal is a type of team Mbappe could get in and I don't feel Arteta can manage him. He's a young man, Arteta. Yeah, but Mbappe said he's reached an agreement with the owner of PSG. He didn't say what the agreement was, but I just assumed it means he's staying.
Well, are they going to crown him the King of France now? I said there's nowhere else for him to go. They've given him the keys to the football club, and might as well just make him the King of France.
Sadly, I fired Chris, so we'll never know what's actually going on in that league. Right, back to the game. Previous games against Liverpool, all competitions since the beginning of time. What would you say, Stan? How many games do you think we've played?
I mean, I don't know. Hit me with it. It's going to be a lot, right? Both teams are always in the top leagues.
240.
Wow.
Quite a lot.
And how have we done?
Right, we have won 82. They have won 94, and we have drawn 64. The first ever FA Cup game against between the teams, 1st of February 1913. Were you at that game?
No, I was out that day. Busy.
Gutted. Woolwich Arsenal 1, Liverpool 4. Didn't happen. Last 5 games against Liverpool, all competitions at home. The last one was the 9th of October 2 years ago, 2022. Arsenal 3, Liverpool 2. I vaguely remember that. One before that, 16th of March 2022. Liverpool came to the Emirates and beat us 2-0 in the Premier League. And then in January that year, they came to the Emirates and beat us 2-0 in the League Cup. April in 2021, they beat us 3-0 at home in the Premier League. And the 15th of July 2020, we beat them 2-1 at home in the Premier League. And I think that was that. A bit COVID-y, that one. So we might forget about that. And then you got the record. Mikel's record against Liverpool as a manager and against Klopp are the same. So played 12, won 4, drawn 3, lost 5. So that's pretty tight, isn't it?
Yeah, it is pretty tight. It's not as bad as it's not as bad as what you would imagine it to be. And I think that we're actually getting a little bit closer now to Liverpool. And I do think that the main difference is that when you watch the match, right, on TV, when it comes on Sunday, right, or Sunday.
Yep, Sunday afternoons.
When you watch it on TV and it comes up, right, and you see the lineups, look at the benches of each team, and you look at the Liverpool bench, and you could probably pick out a few players there that you could say to yourself, yeah, I'd have them in. That person could probably even come into the first team. But if you look at our bench, you ain't going to be able to do the same. And I think that's where the key difference is between us and them at the moment, is that the supporting cast are a lot stronger for Liverpool. And our front three at the moment has looked exceptionally toothless. And we don't have really much that we can do with the front three. We seem to we're stuck with Saka and Martinelli in good times and bad, whether they're in good form or not. And then what can we do with Gabriel Jesus? It's either him or Eddie. Whereas you look at Liverpool, they seem to have a few more pieces that they can mix it up a little bit more. You know, they've got Jota that they can bring in. They've got Nunez. You know, they've got quite a few players across that front three that they can bring in. So that gives them the edge for me. That's where they get their edge.
I've asked for your predictions in the chat, people. So far, we have got 6. Boy 10, you might want to redo yours because it goes to a replay, and the replay then goes to penalties. So you might want to change that. Unless you're predicting a replay and then penalties, then that would be quite sneaky of you. Right, what else are we going to talk about? I think that's all the stats that I've got done. Right. How do you think the game itself is going to go? Do you hold out much hope of a win?
Well, when it was coming up to the Fulham game after the West Ham game, I put out on Twitter, or X if you want to call it that it was the first time in a long time that I was feeling nervous going to bed, going into the game the next day. You know, I didn't feel confident about it. In fact, I didn't say on Twitter, but I was actually thinking to myself, I don't think we're going to win. I felt that we were going to go through. We've looked so toothless up front that I felt that on the back of the West Ham game, I couldn't see what would change in the Fulham game that would get us out of it. So going into this Liverpool game, I also feel a bit nervous as well, because I do think there's a bit of a funk in the team, and our front three just looks so toothless. You look at the numbers of Odegaard compared to last season, he's way off. Martinelli is way off this season, way off. And Saka, he's there or thereabouts. And then we've got a striker that doesn't score anyway. You know, he'll give us a goal sort of like, it feels like we get a goal from Jesus once every 3 to 4 games. If we're playing him tomorrow, he's kind of due a goal. Maybe tomorrow he'll be able to nick one. But we've got quite a good defence, so the stats tell us. But if we can't score goals and they only have to score one, then that's it. That's the end of our competition. So I'm a little bit worried, and I don't want to sound like a Debbie Downer, but I'm just being honest. I've not felt confident over the last few games about the way that we've played, to be fair.
A lot of sense there. BX says, if we can't beat them without Salah, we won't win anything this year. We have to win. Graham Denton says, while that of the start of the season, we were all excited to add depth to the squad. Now with injuries, we don't look deep at all. We look one injury away from a crisis. Yep. Tone, Toan, not tone. Our players aren't on the same wavelength. I think that's very true. That's another prediction. Daft Question says, Phil, but has Pepe left the club? Well, that all depends on who you talk to, because some people say that he has gone on loan and then at the end of the season will cancel his deal. And some people says he has signed for them. So the truth out of that, I've got no idea. I'm going to go and see what the Wikipedia says, because the Wikipedia is often quite right.
I thought he was no longer part of Arsenal's playing. Like as in like we'd worked something out, ripped up the contract or something or other. I thought that was it. He was done.
Oh, it doesn't even show me. Control F, PEPE. Nope. Released. Wikipedia says contract termination 10th of September 2023. He's gone to Trabzonspor, my Turkish team. Thank you very much, Kevin Campbell. And he didn't play for a while while he was there, but now he has played, according to Wikipedia, he's played no fucking games because they're idiots. But yeah, he's played a few games, scored a few goals. He's not doing too bad there. I'm going to have hey, Wikipedia aren't even showing it. Go and stick things up your bum, you shitbags. Get rid of the injury table. Go back to here. But there was some more. If you haven't put a prediction in, people, put it in, and then we can ridicule you when it turns out we win 8-0. Boy 10 is not happy. He says Arteta's tactics are hampering the team right now because he wants to get Havertz scoring goals. So our midfield is always vacated unless Zinchenko is on crack for a day. Again, perfectly put. We are a fucking mess. If Zinchenko plays, we have no cover down the left-hand side. And then if he doesn't play, we play Kiwior at left-back, who isn't a left-back, who can't go up and down the left-hand side. So then we end up playing 4 centre-backs, doing nothing. Ben White is injured because we don't have another right-back that can come in and give him a rest other than Tomiyasu. And if Tomiyasu's going to play a game, he's going to come in and play rather than Zinchenko. So we are a little bit fucked. And there's no belief in the squad. How can you have 30-odd chances at goal and not score a single goal? Oh, we've had 80 or 90 over the last 4 or 5 games and scored 3 goals. It's just pathetic because Jesus isn't a goal scorer. Eddie couldn't score in a brothel, and he's never ever going to give Manwari a go.
No. And I think the problem that we have is when we've decided to go with youth in a lot of key positions. So we have Odegaard, Saka and Martinelli, who are quite young. And generally, when you have players of around their age coming into a big team, you look at the way, for example, United are using Garnacho. You can see that Garnacho is a talent and he's got all the tools there, but he's still learning, right? But they're not starting him every game, every week. He'll start some games, other games he'll be on the bench. And that's because players of that age, they are inconsistent while they're learning. You know that they've got talent. You know that on their day they can do, excellent things. We only have to go back and remember Martinelli's goal, his arrival goal against Chelsea, which was kind of like his announcement. We know that the guy's got talent. But when you're that young, I think that players tend to go through patches of inconsistency. But what we've done is, rather than having it like the Garnacho way where we can take them out and we have a regular person that can come into that position, like in their case, it would be a Rashford. We haven't got that. It's Martinelli or bust in that position. So when he's not going through having good games, Arteta is loath to take him off. Because if he's going to take him off, who's he going to put in his place? Trossard? And Trossard was a player that, even before we signed him, on Fan Circle, myself and Ray were talking about players that we would like to see come into the club, and we both agreed that we liked Trossard. Problem is with Trossard is that he comes off the bench, he does really good things, and you keep saying to yourself, man, he's got to be knocking on the door for a starting place. He has to be on the manager's mind for a starting place. And then Mikel will do that. He'll give him a starting opportunity, and then he won't pay him back. He'll be absolutely pants. And then he's taken out of the team. So if you've got a player like that, he's probably loath to take Martinelli out because his only option is Trossard, who he isn't confident with either. So it's not a good situation to be in.
It's not good. Boy 10 says, if Arteta tells Havertz to sit in our front line and wait for long balls again, then I cannot see us beating Liverpool. He's supposed to facilitate his side of the midfield, but Arteta tells him not to. Yeah, and then plus it means when Havertz plays, like Boy 10 says, Havertz goes further forward. And that's the role that Ødegaard did last season. He was the one who went forward from midfield and did stuff. And now he's not doing it. And so he's not scoring the goals.
No.
Fran is there. I'm still haunted, Fran. Never sure to call you Bex or Fran or God, there's another name, isn't there? But yeah, would like you to come on to a show soon, Fran, if you can. Fran might be your sister's name. You've told me 1,000 times, like with Ray in the chat and Ryan. I get their names mixed up because they're both podcast owners. And they've got the same letters. And so I call Ray Ryan and Ryan Ray, and then some of them neither. And it's an absolute mess. It's lovely to have you here. I hope you're well. People, go and have a look for GOALARTZO on Twitter and go and follow her and have a look at some of the artwork she does. It's wonderful.
Especially some of the ones where she's filmed it on like like the time lapse. So it's all done quite quickly, where it starts and where it ends up. Very, very good. Very good at drawing people's likenesses, their faces. Some very good Arsenal players one on there that you should check out. Very good.
What I've always wondered, Fran, and if you can tell us, when your people, artists, they draw stuff, you copy photos. I always think, well, why don't you draw something that they would never do? Now that could sound a little bit rude. That's not what I mean. People they draw footballers as footballers, and they're doing footballing things. I always wondered, why don't artists do them doing something else? You go, well, that's never been a photo. That's never going to happen. But here you go.
A drawing of Dennis Bergkamp stood at a sink with rubber gloves on, just doing the washing up.
Something like that. Well, it's Dennis Bergkamp. Like you see all these paintings of monkeys, but no lions, but where they're wearing a suit, like they got this posh person sat upright, like having a portrait painted, and it's a lion, but in a human body. Things like that. That always makes you go, oh, I quite like that.
Phil Macker said, because as you said, right, draw footballers doing something that they don't usually do. Phil Macker's come up with one. Frank could draw Jesus actually scoring a goal.
Where's that? Oh, I was trying to go down to Fran's bit.
Very good.
Graham says, I did not think I'd hear anyone praising anything United are doing of late. Yeah, especially not Man United fans. Goldbridge has been absolutely wonderful in his Goldbridgeisms. Boy 10 says, ESR can play left on the wing and saved Arteta's arse by playing there. Why can't he play? Even we couldn't answer that, Stan, can we?
Can I just say, do you think Goldbridge has like these isms that he has written down, or he just comes up with
must
it?
have.
He said one the other day, I was watching him, and he's going, "What's he doing? Where's he going? He's just run away." He's like a nonce who's realised that he's left his computer in
laptop.
PC world, or something like that. It was brilliant.
Fran says, I know what you mean. I am actually going to do that for us. I'm Saka coming up, actually. Now I'm thinking, is it Fran? Because she used her sister's name for a YouTube account many years ago. And I was going to say Fran. And then it was, no, that's not my name. That's my sister's account. And now I can't get it out of my head. It's wiggling around in there like a wiggly worm. Draw Raya making a save. He saved a penalty, you evil man. Steph says, Dennis should be making a cocktail next to the ice machine. See, there you go. Loads of stuff. Still got any of them seeds, mate? Still got any of them seeds?
Here's an idea. I could have a few Arsenal legends all sat around like a card table, all with their cards up, looking around at each other with different expressions, looking around the table, like, and there's like money in the middle and, cigar in the ashtray sort of thing. I just thought that. You can have that one.
I'm starting possibly doing a new YouTube thing just about my carnivore diet and my medical condition and how the two combine, because it's quite interesting. And I was thinking, for the header along YouTube is, if you look at YouTube, along the banner across the top of it, and the Last Supper, I wanted someone to draw me I'm going to ask Sebi. So the table's quite long, and then I have me in the middle, and normally you have all the apostles either side of it. I want a chicken there, a pig there, a cow there, someone made of cheese sat there, and then just me all eating, or I'm eating, and then they're all looking at me. That's the idea that I want, but that's probably a lot of work. And I know Sebi's skilled. I mean, Fran's way too skilled to mess around with that kind of shit. But that's the header I'd like on it. Yeah, because it's an interesting journey so far, mainly involving a lot of piss, but we won't talk about that. Phil says, draw Arteta making a sensible decision. Graham says, Arteta having a cup of tea with PGML leadership. Actually, they're the kind of things that can't draw Arsenal. And who's the other one? The one who does the videos of comedy stuff and their cartoons. Maybe that is Can't Draw Arsenal. Oh, it's Can't Draw and Badly Drawn, isn't there? So, yeah, it's Can't Draw is very good. Sniffer says Goldbridge is a helmet. And Phil says, haven't you got a My Fan site? No. Too much man here for most women and not in the right places. So, yes. Anything else you want to talk about, Stan, before we let these people continue with their days?
No, not really. Looking forward to the game. I think the games between Arsenal and Liverpool are always pretty exciting anyway. But I am a little bit nervous going into this one. For me, I would go with the strongest lineup possible because I think some players need to start making up for a couple of performances. So he needs to field the strongest. And we don't have a game for quite a while, do we? We don't have a game the following week, do we? There's a bit of a
gap.
For
no reason.
So we can afford to put out a strong team. And as a few people in the chat box have been saying, you know, they're going to be without Salah. So it's a good opportunity because we know how good he is. And I was actually disappointed in the last game that we played, even though we've gone to Anfield and came away with a draw, which is no mean feat. Deep down inside, I was really hoping that we could be decisive and just for confidence within the team that we could have come away with all 3 points. But I'm looking forward to Sunday, but I'm nervous.
Right, we've only got 10 predictions. I've got them starred. So if you haven't done a prediction yet, put the prediction in the chat. And me and Stan are going to talk about podcasts for a couple of minutes. Mike Hertz says top 3 non-Arsenal related podcasts. Have you got some?
Top 3 non-Arsenal related podcasts. Well, yeah. If you like wrestling, I like listening to Vince Russo. His podcast because he's a little bit out there and he makes me laugh out loud sometimes. I also like Double Toasted, which is a podcast that kind of discusses movies when they come out. They review movies, TV shows, and a few things about celebrities, but they're quite entertaining as well. And I think the last one would probably be I also like the Something to Wrestle To with Conrad and Bruce Pritchard. Again, a wrestling orientated podcast where they look at pay-per-views, different wrestlers, and Bruce Pritchard, who's been involved in so much, gives you his insight, and it's usually quite entertaining as well.
There you go. Phil says, listen to Kermode and Mayo. They've gone very left-wing with their Kermode. Very left-wing all the time. Any chance he gets to have a little fucking dig at someone.
Is that Mark Kermode, the film guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
They used to Mark Kermode and Simon Mayo used to do one on BBC One years ago. Still like them. But I don't like the fact that they're not BBC now, so there's adverts and you have to skip through them. But their adverts are brilliant because they ad-lib or they're different every single time. So I like that, but I don't listen to that often. Dan Carlin's Hardcore History is absolutely brilliant one. I've listening to one now about King of Kings, about the history of the Middle East. And that's 3 podcasts, and each one's about 5 or 6 hours long. Or Dan Carlin's Common Sense, which he used to do one every couple of weeks about politics. Doesn't do that one ananymore. Obviously, Joe Rogan is the king of podcasts. He's doing one at the moment by the bloke who was a writer-director of 1883. The one about the Wild West and the people traveling across it. And then he also did the king of... what's that one? The bow and arrow bloke for Marvel.
Hawkeye. Jeremy Renner.
Yeah, Jeremy Renner. He did a TV series, the King of Kingstown. No, the Mayor of Kingstown. Yeah. No, that wasn't. That was Titanic Bird. It's getting on my bloody nerves now. It should have it in my list of TV.
No, what's it called? It is no, it's not the Mayor, is it? What is it? I know the one you mean. His brother died, and he kind of
Oh,
like
Mayor.
got put in charge.
Mayor of Kingstown, the one with that woman in is the Mare of Easttown. Yeah, so Mayor of Kingstown, absolutely stunning TV series, as is 1883. So there you go. So Joe Rogan, anything by Dan Carlin, and actually I've got all my list of all my Spotify favourite ones. Totally Football Show don't count. Nick Abbott, the whole show, is a little bit lefty at times, but he's right. We're all in a bloody
I will
mess.
say one thing as well. If you like to watch scary videos, which there's a guy called there's a channel called Casper Site, and he's really funny. And it's basically him watching other people's videos on other channels, and some of the stuff is actually like, wow, that's a bit freaky. But his reaction always makes me laugh out loud as well when he's actually watching it. His reactions are quite funny. So that's another good one, Casper Site.
I don't like horror
But most of the podcasts I listen to are actually Arsenal related.
No, I listen to football very rarely. I mean, I watch a load of ones on YouTube that are my friends, like your one, and they're Not Another Arsenal podcast. And
Hertz is, if you're not watching that, you should be. Not Another Arsenal podcast.
Yeah, so there's a fab podcast called Lovejoy, actually, which we all know Lovejoy is one of my favourite TV series. BX has got it. It's stunning TV series. There's 2 series of it at the moment. I'm currently watching all of Billions. I watched it all the way up to series 6, and so now series 7 is out again. I started it from series 1 again. Okay. Series 4 and 5 drag quite a bit, but yeah,
the one's about Axelrod.
Yeah, I'm on series 7 at the moment. So Graham says,
if you like Billions, there's another show that you should watch. I think they've done 5 seasons of it. It's finished now. It's called Succession. Excellent.
Oh yeah, I
watched the first excellent.
That, and then forgot to watch the rest of it. So that's another one I'll start from the beginning.
Excellent.
Graham says, Luz about injury is massive. He runs down everywhere. Everyone in the centre. Without him, we'll have time on the ball. So let's go and do your predictions, because we've been going for nearly an hour for a half-hour show. Is ridiculous. Right, Mike Hertz, lose 2-0. It'll be Liverpool winning 2-0. Ryan Ray, a game full of goals. We win 3-2. Moss Sports World 2-1 to the Arsenal. Jesus and stupid Jota ties it, and then Tross subs in and wins it. Oh, there you go. Lovely. Phil Macker 2-0 the Arsenal. Let's embrace the spirit of 89 when we were young and handsome, Danny. Oh, great. I actually got one woman at McDonald's drive-thru who said, oh, you look like Bruce Willis. I'm having that on my fucking gravestone, even though I'm being cremated. I'm never dying, so never mind. Travis Seals says, Hart says 2-1. Brain says 2-1 to Liverpool. Toan V says 2-1 the Arsenal. Mike Hertz, I've already done that question, so I can go away. Sai says 2-1 Liverpool. Boy 10 says 0-0 this game. Next game 2-2. And then he said 5-3 on penalties, and I can't remember which way round it was. Stefan says 4-3 the Arsenal. BX says 1-0 to the Arsenal. Graham Denton says 3-1 the Arsenal. Hantumi says 2-1 the Arsenal. Miss Melina, who I've seen some of your YouTube stuff, very good. I'm glad to see you're well again. 2-1 the Arsenal. Come on, you Gunners. Lovely jubbly. I'm going to go back and have a look at the live chat, see if I've missed any. No, apart from Moss Sports saying, hope Oz is good. Oz, the TV series. Oh,
that's a good show. That's a good show. Yeah.
Wouldn't get away and make
it. Show, man.
Yes. Well, there you go. That's it. There was another really good series that had a number in it. It wasn't 1883. It wasn't 1923. It was about a woman on an old-timey ship like the Titanic going somewhere. Ooh,
I saw trailers for it. It was called like 1827 or something like that, wasn't it? Was it any good?
1899. Absolutely stunning. And you will never, ever guess the twist at the end. Miss Molina says thank you, and I wouldn't give it away. That's okay. I'm glad to hear you're well again, because a lot of people on Twitter were giving you some love. George Carlin. I don't know where you got that from.
Very funny man.
Great comedians that's ever lived. There you go. Right, Stan. I am going to go. We're going to lose this 3-1 because Arteta is not in a good place at the moment, and I don't trust him to make the decisions that need to be made to play the right people in the right formation with the right tactics at the right time. He's having a bit of a brain fart at the moment. It's going to come good. Don't want him sacked. Oh, here we go. Joe Madeira says, "Why have so many fans gone crazy? Never seen such an overreaction."
Go on, Joe. You tell him.
And then Boy 10 says, "Danny went 3-1 Liverpool." Acting like Anfield, like such an entitled fan base. Oh, it doesn't include me. I'm not entitled. I don't think we're going to win it. Right. So, yeah, what did you say? What are you going to go for, Stan?
As I mentioned, I'm just worried at the moment that we're having a problem converting goals. I'm worried that it's going to be maybe a 2-0 to Liverpool. And I really hate when people ask me for predictions and I go against Arsenal. I don't like doing it.
No.
You know, I try to go with my heart over my head. But I've been worried for the last few games now, and that hasn't quelled.
Moss said, "Mayor of Kingstown, wasn't that an odd show about a dude in Toronto?" No, it was about gang violence and prisons and organised crime in Chicago or somewhere like that. Joe Madeira said, "People forget where we were 2 years ago. Fuck's sake. That's why I say I don't want him sacked. We are not the end product yet for Arteta, but we're in a bit of a funk at the moment. And you know, and if Arsenal lose 3-1 tomorrow, I will not be on Twitter going, 'Told you so, told ya.' I will be sad. I want to be proven wrong tomorrow, and I'll go out there and get a healthy 1-0 win. I'd love that. But I just don't.
Can I just ask as well, Joe, do you actually live in Madeira? Because I used to live in Funchal. I lived there for a couple of years or so in Madeira, and I loved living there on that island as well. So I just wondered. And if you do live in Madeira and you're from Madeira, you will probably understand when I say that I really do miss a good bottle of Maceira to have on the cold winter nights.
It's never cold. Is that in Spain?
Madeira's in Portugal. It's an island, it's its own island, part of Portugal.
Oh, here we go. Here's the answer. Oh, wow. No, I live in London. My parents are from Porto da Cruz.
Okay, nice.
We were talking about Portugal the other day because I said to Sian, I said, if only could. I said, "You're not too old to take up tennis, are you?" And she said, "Why?" I said, "Well, you're only 25. That's my daughter, by the way." I said, "You can take up tennis, become a because she's got knees like a builder, and she's an angry person with a good punch." And I said, "She's good looking, and so the media will love her, and all the boys will fancy her." And then I said, "Then we can go and buy some land in Portugal because I want to go and live in Portugal. Spain is too common for me, and I want to go and I'd go and support a Portuguese team. And at the moment, I support Penafiel." Because I did back in the 80s, people used to play fantasy football where you would be by the post. And the team they gave me was Penafiel, which are a shit second division team in Portugal. But I'd have to support a big team, so I'd want to live close to somewhere. And I think I'd probably go Benfica because of the links we've had to them with the players we've loaned them, like the player we bought from them, which is the Swedish bloke, midfielder. I can't remember his name. Stefan Schwarz. Yeah. So I'd want to live quite close to a big team. But yeah, I want to go and live in Portugal where it's warm all year round. One of my neighbours across the road, she's from Portugal. I said, why are you living in this fucking country when you could be living in Portugal? She said, "I can't stand the heat." I said, "I can't stand the cold."
My Portugal, I don't really have other teams, but the Portuguese team that I quite like is, and they're from Madeira. They're called Maritimo. And Joe will probably know this. I was lucky enough where I used to live just by the stadium. And I actually got quite friendly because it's a very small place. There's only a few places to drink and that, you know, on the island. And I got to know the team at the time quite well. And it was when their captain was called Bruno. And also I got quite friendly with a player that you may remember. He was a Portuguese player, and I think he played for Celtic, and he also played for West Ham. And his name was Hugo Porfirio. My mate used to own a pub called the Prince Albert, and I used to come in there. And me and Hugo, we got on like a house on fire because he's got a very good English accent. He's lived in London and everything. And I used to be able to go and watch home games for free. So I have good memories for living there and, you know, going up to Maritimo. Really enjoyed it.
Oh,
yeah, that's right. He played for Nacional. Yeah. Ronaldo played for Nacional because Ronaldo's from Madeira and he played for Nacional.
That's nice. You've got some. You're a well-travelled man, Stan. I know you've ended up in bloody Canada.
Not bad for a kid who's from Peckham.
Peckham. I'm from Putney, which is a very posh now. It's a shithole when we lived there. So I was born and brought up there until I was about 3.5. And I went, "Fuck this, let's move to Huntingdon." Right, I think that's we've still got 32 people watching at this time of night. Well, thank you very much. In future, me and Stan are going to try and do these shows late night, so maybe 1 a.m. kind of thing, because a load of my friends on other podcasts are from North America and South America and all those kind of places. So it'd be nice to entertain a different range of people, normal afternoon, nighttime for them. So we will be back. We will be back Sunday evening sometime, me and Deke talking about the game. But the way I'm sleeping at the moment, I'm not looking forward to doing a show after having about 5 hours sleep, which is going to be a nightmare. Hopefully this will apparently only last 2 weeks, the constant weeing. Oh, God's sake. And if anyone's interested, I'm playing Football Manager 23 with ABWFC. I'm in my 5th season, and I'm 5 seasons undefeated with 4 titles. There we go. Joe says, hopefully we win Sunday. Otherwise, God help the state of our fan base. You're right, Joe, because they are mostly pricks. People like Troops have come out of all of a sudden. Yeah, I've noticed that, Stan. All the old lot who made their podcast, made their names on the back of Arteta and Emery and us being, Wenger and us, on Wenger and Emery on us being shit. They've not been around for the last couple of years of our glory under Arteta, especially last season when we played some of the best football I've ever seen in my life as an Arsenal fan. Now they're starting to stick their heads up again. I saw, I don't mean Lee Jones is a prick, he's not, he's a friend of mine, he's a lovely bloke, but he did one, there's a short clip of him the other day on Twitter going, I don't fucking care, fuck you, and this is fucking out. And I thought, Judge is back, lovely. Excellent. But some of those people really are arseholes. The Judge isn't an arsehole. He's a genuinely lovely bloke.
He is actually. I've done a couple of podcasts with him. I knew who he was, and I was on a panel with him, and I had a good chat with him, and behind the scenes afterwards as well. And very affable gentleman to talk to be honest.
Yeah, he is. And so is Dan, mate of his. Very good.
Dan Potts,
Dan Potts, yeah, another nice bloke. Right, let's go, because we've been doing just over an hour. We'll be back tomorrow. Stan, you've been delightful.
Thank you. It's been good to come back. It's been a while since we have done these. I also want to just quickly say to Phil Macker, he was a Stretton boy. That means that he probably went to nightclubs like the Cat's Whiskers, which was above the ice skating ring. He's probably laughing to himself now. It's good to be back. So glad that everybody came in the chat to join us. Thanks for having me, Danny. And I look forward to coming back and doing a few more of these preview shows and maybe post shows with Deke, time willing.
Lovely. Right. Now, would you like the outro that is Steve Lord Hillwood and Dave Goonaholic, or would you like the Anfield 89 outro?
I want the Steve and the that one. You know the one I mean. Steve Hillwood, please, and David.
Yes. And Dave, who has been his anniversary on Christmas Day. I think it's 4 or 5 years now. Sad times. Right, we're going to go. Thank you very much for watching. If you've liked it, give it a thumbs up, or maybe subscribe if you haven't before, because we've lost 20 subscribers in the last month. I don't know where they've gone. Bless them. They've probably made the right decision.
They're probably following me
tomorrow. Hey, cheeky. All right then. Goodbye.
As soon as I scored that goal, I was fucking livid. Get down, dog. Splendid business.
He nearly caught the bloody thing. What are you talking about?
So I was just eating a full quiche. Well, you don't often see them at Ibs, so when you see them in the supermarket, they need to be swagged, microwaved immediately, and get the brown sauce on and bosh, Bob's your uncle.
Never in doubt.